This time on Captain Chaos's laboratory, we're working on, yeah, spaced it for a second. It's the mailbag from Enesco. It's a music box, I assume. It is called, I'll get you the real name right off the front. Apparently it doesn't say. Dear Santa by Enesco. So it's the Santa's mailbag, and I don't know why I spaced it, but so anyhow, this person got two. One was theirs, and they bought a second one that was broken. This was theirs, and this broke off in shipping. And this was the one that they bought that's broken. You can see all the pieces right here. So the goal is to take one of these and make it work. I mean, there's little. This is more rigid than this one. But this way you can actually read the list. And on the box picture, it's kind of halfway between the two as far as its angle. But, so, in this one, so, being the original, I don't know if you can hear that. Let me hold the tags that bounce around. Stay. There's a metallic rattling inside. So, this is the AC adapter, and I tested the adapter to make sure it worked before I did anything. I don't want to plug these in until I open them because of the rattling. They wrote on their mailbag, so Santa's mailbag. It is a 9-volt, 500 milliamp adapter using the 3mm headphone style mono jack right there. The book that comes with one of these, this one, says that depending on the age, it will be a 9-volt 500 or a 9-volt 400 milliamp power adapter. So if you pull yours out, you're like, hey, mine's 400, it's fine. It came with either, it says. But if you have to replace it, make sure it's no lower than 400. You can go 800 or 1000. It doesn't matter as long as it's still 9 volts DC. So this is putting out 15.23 volts free float, which is excessively high. That is almost a like 75% increase over a standard power. So I'm assuming this has a load on it that drops it down. So we're going to start by opening the units because, again, I want to know what that metallic sound is. This was glued right here. It's a candlestick, and we will read it here when we're done. They have tags that hang on this front, so you got to be wary or aware of those so you don't break them. Here is the Enesco Music Certified Excellent Society hanger. Got to be careful with that if it has it. This one doesn't. And so here's the back. So you have your off-on switch, which doesn't really work, and your power port. No idea what the white is. I think it's all the foam. Yeah, it's the foam from the box, but that rattling is what's getting to me on the inside. So the strap is kind of leatherette, and it has a little plastic buckle, which looks like it works. I wouldn't trust it because of its age. I do not know the year. Is it stamped on here at all? Well, apparently the real name of this says it's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Made in China, exclusively for Enesco. Leisure Fame? Luster Fame. Designs. Copyright. I need some magnifying glasses. This is really small print. $1993. Luster Fame Design, 1993, Enesco Corporation. So the real name again is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and it's a musical piece. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down on one of the three sides that aren't really four sides. So it looks like the back and the left side have the least amount of protrusions for setting it on its side. And we got 7 screws. 4 of them are really recessed, which I'm assuming is what holds the bottom on. I think the other 3 screws, which I'll show you the bottom before I forget. I think these 3 screws hold on the mechanism for the musical. But I think these 4 are what holds the whole base on. So I'll set her back down again. Those screws are in there a ways. Inch and a quarter-ish. And they're tight. Alright, 4 screws are out. Let's stick them over here so they're out of the way. And let's see if we can get this to slide out. I'm pretty sure it's wedged in there pretty good from age and flexing. There actually might be some adhesive on the edges. Yeah, there's adhesive around it too. That or the this material has melted, which is very possible too. But it's definitely stuck. I'm going to loosen these. Not take them out, just in case. And let's see. When I loosened them, they popped out. As soon as I loosened the last one, the whole thing fell in. So it is a mechanism that is attached to it. I'm trying to dislodge the base, which doesn't want to move. Just going to quickly check, make sure there's no other hidden screws from the sides. There's not. This broken one, the bottom's already bowed off. Let me open this broken one real quick. Excuse me, the one that says damaged parts piece. And let me see if I can get this base off without damaging the better of the two. I felt everything move in my hand. So there we go. So since this one's bowed, I can get underneath it to break the adhesive. It is glued, so it's screwed and glued. There we go. Just taking my time trying to see where it's being held up at. So the bottom is free. I'm going to remove these 3 screws now from this one. Apparently very long machine threads, or at least long compared to the other ones. Let's see. There's the motor. So that screw holds the motor. And the reason it doesn't want to fully come out is the entire mechanism is attached. It's also attached up here. So I see under the lip of the books, we got a screw. So I'm wondering if this is like the Eiffel Tower, where the Eiffel Tower you had to remove one of the mice, and this has got mice as well. Let me unscrew the screw here. I don't know if that's going to help. So this moves, this moves, this moves. I think that's it. All right. That doesn't want to come out. That doesn't want to lift out. Ooh, like everything. Oh, that's the sword that's broke off. Let's see if I can get another peek in here. Just like the Eiffel Tower, there was a trick, which was the centerpiece cammed off. And I'm trying to see if I can see if there's a trick in here. But I can get this screw out before I lose it, since I got it free on the base. What's this? Alright, so I am right. Those 3 machine screws just hold the music box down. Circuit board is attached to one of the standoffs. Now this switch works a lot better than that one. So the mechanism, there's a mechanism right here that controls him. It is screwed from the bottom. The mechanism that controls this goes the width. It changes directions. It's attached to the sides of the mail bag. strut mechanisms are screwed about here and about here, straight down, which I'm flexing the plastic right now to look inside. I just gotta find the key that separates this. I think the key is going to be on the top. I'm probably wrong, but I believe it might be on the top here. Why would there be a random screw on the front? Oh, that's interesting. The text on the book is actually readable. Only 2 stamps with the airplane upside down are known to exist. One was sent on a letter to Santa by Tommy. The whereabouts of the second one is unknown. Its value is priceless. Wow. There's a lot of detail. You can even read the top postcard here. It's... You just have to read cursive, but top one says, Dear Santa, I have tried to be a very good girl all year. Please bring me a beautiful doll, Lisa. P.S. If you don't get a doll, please bring me a I don't know what that word is. Something bank. Savings bank? I think it says savings bank, yeah. Please bring me a savings bank. His foot's in the way, so it makes it hard to read. Okay. So this is screwed from underneath in the top of the mail bag. This is screwed down, but I'm getting a little bit more flex. I can actually partially lift this up. I'm really wondering if it comes out the top. You unscrew the bottom and then it comes out the top. And I think it's just caught on the mail bag because of its distorting. This whole side's freed up. Ah, there's another screw. I don't know how I get to that one. Let's see. You have to get the mail bag to tip. And don't know what those screws do. They don't really appear to do much of anything. No, it unscrews these books, but underneath is solid white. There's no access. Yep, it does come out the top. Now what are we caught on? So this side came up. Oh, it's caught on that gear right there. Right here. Which means I need to get the other side up. The reason I'm doing this on the one that's probably non-repairable, or is the donor piece, is in case I break it, I'm not breaking the better one. And once I figure out the trick on the donor, I can then take apart that one. I'm wondering if it was just caught on that screw. Yeah, it was just caught on that screw. Okay, so it comes out the top. You have to unscrew the bottom and pull it out the top. And it's got 2 motors, and I still don't know why these books are screwed on, but they are. There's no point taking those screws out, so we can skip that step on this one. And there's our mechanism all the way down inside. And you can kind of see. There's the 3 screws that held this in. It is now loose, as you can tell. We have a motion assembly, which makes this guy move, which is driven off of this gear that was getting caught when I was trying to pull up at an angle. You have a very hefty little gearbox here with another little motor. And I don't see why this one wouldn't work. It's got a better switch than that one. So, now that it's open, why don't we plug this one in and see what it does or does not do. I don't know if it's on or off because the switch isn't labeled. It's off. This one's working like it's supposed to. So the donor one that says bad is in better shape than the other, or functional. And it does have the Enesco still wrapped. So all the gears are moving. This guy's moving up and down. He's the stamper. This is moving up and down with the scale spinning. See the scale? The sword is moving, even though it's just a piece. Now this won't work. This is broke. So let me turn it off since it's hard to set down. So both motors are functional. I shouldn't get a copyright for the music box. So yeah, the pin for this is damaged. I wonder if I can maybe flex it a little. There we go. That could actually be repaired with a little heat. So what it is the pin's bent because it got caught and there's a piece of broken plastic in the bottom. And this is really dry, it's really stiff. A little lubrication would fix that right up. So this one works. It's just not in the same shape as that one. And the plastic bag is warped, so it's crushing the piece. So now we know how to take it apart. And we know we've already popped out the screws. I'm not taking out the screws here. So I'm going to lift by this little book. Look at that. And then I'm going to lift by the lip underneath the blue envelope here. Let's see if it'll budge. Make sure all the screws are out. It doesn't get caught on the thread. Yep, they are. I know they're right there, but Murphy. Apparently I need a little bit more leverage, more center. There we go. I'm just trying to lift it square so I don't catch that gear like I did on this one. That may have bent the pin on mouse guy here, I don't know. But it's easily fixed. It's not broke off. And if it was broke off, it's still easily fixed. What I'm trying to do is just get the screwdriver under the thicker parts of the plastic to help me lift it square. That way we can pop it out, because it's got the same problem. The top of this mail bag is pulled in on this side. It's probably age related, and it's pinching the plastic plate. So this brown plate right here is getting pinched, just like that one did. It wants to come out at an angle, and we know we can't lift it out at a full angle because of the gear. So I just want to get it up to the top, and then maybe I can walk it out. So underneath, so you know what I'm doing with the screwdriver, I can show you on this one. Taking the screwdriver, maybe you see the plastic standoffs right here, and right here, and right here. I'm pushing here because that's the strongest part, and then right here to help walk this side up because it's being pinched. So that way you can know what I'm doing, because you see you can't see because the camera angle is only from above. Now that I got the corner up, I can try and slide the screwdriver underneath the brown plate all the way to the back corner and see if I can lift it. It still doesn't want to lift. It's acting like the other one where it's stuck on a screw, but I know the screws are out of it. Let's try a smaller screwdriver. There we go. There we go. All right. What does the inside of this one look like? Other than the power regulator being turned in the other direction, they're pretty identical. And does this one say 93 as well? Well, I think that was the first one. The reason I ask, or saying it is not asking, is sometimes when they're a year or two different, they have different, yeah, they're both 93. They might have a different manufacturer make their circuit boards, because this circuit board is the same, but the components are shifted slightly different. Alright, plug this one in. It might just be a bad switch, because this, yeah, I think it's this. Oh, it's the power port too. So this needs a power port and a switch. Get it on the camera. See the guy with the sword? It's a letter opener. There is a clunk, so I think I have a broken gear. Yeah, this needs a switch and a power port. That has a good switch and power port. But we also have a broken gear, because I can feel it. So a broken gear goes click, 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 click as you're spinning. And now I need to find where that broken gear is. Now I'm going to try this one more time and see if I can physically see it while it's spinning. There's a lot of gears. But this guy's not moving. This guy's not moving because the pieces broke off. So the one that he said was good is in worse shape than the one that's bad. That he bought as a parts piece that says bad. That's ironic. So the plastic bar that this right here, which has a rod that sticks out that moves him on this one, it's a different color, so I think this was a different year or a different manufacturer. Just because it says Enesco doesn't mean that they outsourced it to the same factory. Mr. Christmas was good at that too. This one has a white bar that's slightly thinner and the end of it's broke off, which I don't see it inside. This one has a definite broken gear. I can't see it, but I can feel it, and it goes clunk, clunk, and every time it clunks, you can watch all the gears do this. So there's a broken gear, and there's a lot of gears. There's probably about 12. So we got to find the gear. This one I would probably rebuild because of the sword, I keep saying sword, letter opener. Because the letter opener guy trying to re-glue that piece on inside is going to be very difficult. But we could probably take this box out, stick it on this one, and replace these two. Let's see which mailbag's better. This handle is pretty nasty. This one looks a little better. And don't really care about the base. These gears look better. So, if you can tell, try not to snap the letter opener guy. Yeah, I'll zoom in. But these gears appear to be in much better shape than those gears. These gears have a lot of excess grease and there's debris inside of them, probably from the plastic shredding itself. So, see the nastiness? And right here, you can see I can move this guy. If you see right there, there's a rough adhesion. That was a plastic peg that stuck out. It is now gone. And I don't see it in here, but that might be that piece that's rattling. It's probably stuck under the circuit board. I don't know what the metallic sound was yet, though. Then I'll bring this one in the frame. Look at how you can see the grease. But look how clean those gears are because it hasn't had any shredded material yet. And then see right here, this one's brown. See that little pin right there? That's the pin that's broke off on this one. This one, this lower mechanism is in better shape than this one. I'm going to zoom back out now. There we go. Also, this is still lubricated and this is dry. So this is shredding itself. Well, this one isn't. This one has a bad switch and bad port. This one has a good switch and port. So the switch, I'm sure you all know what a switch is. It goes click, click. This one doesn't go click, and it's really hard to move in one direction. This one goes click. And then the port, this plugs into this one and stays. You plug into this one, and if you move, it plugs right back out because there's spring-loaded fingers in there that clamp onto this contour. If you ever pay attention, you see the taper. Well, the spring-loaded fingers either stretched or broke off, and that might be the metallic sound. One of the fingers is broke off. So technically the parts piece is in better shape than internally than the original. This is going to be the biggest issue. So that's why I'm saying we should probably take this off and swap it over to this one, or take this off and swap it to this one and use this bag, because all the internals are in better shape than this one. This one has a slightly better handle, but that's because I think it's because of packing, because this one's all kinked up worse than this one is. So I think this one is packed in the box, because it still has the white foam. It has the Enesco still wrapped in plastic. This we can flex down so it looks more like the one in the image. This one has words on it too that my brother and I have been very good boys all year, and I would love a new paint box for my Christmas gift. And the paint box is circled in red. It says, my little brother James would like a new toy soldier for his gift, Peter. So the detail on this is amazing. But the only thing I don't like about these music boxes is you can't turn sound off. So you have to listen to that same 20-second or 15-second long piece of the song over and over and over and over again, and it gets a little annoying. So, all right, so we're gonna take this and take this and swap them. So we're gonna swap the tops, and then I gotta reconnect that music box inside this piece so it's not bouncing around. See where the screw holes are. 1, 2, and 3. There they are. So if you cannot find a parts piece, which this is only like the second or third one ever I've had somebody send me a parts piece, it is repairable. The hardest part would be the sword. If your sword, or God, I keep saying sword. If your letter opener breaks. Oh my gosh. I think the reason I say sword is a long time ago in my previous videos I worked on Pete the Magic Dragon Enesco piece, and the little mice had swords. Also, I should ask Enesco, what is their infatuation with mice? All the music boxes I do with theirs have mice. But, so the letter opener part would be the hardest thing to fix if you broke it. You could technically fix it. There we go. I'll make sure they're actually snug. With really strong resin glue and let it sit for 24 hours. You'd have to disassemble this to get the piece and let it sit and cure. On the bottom side, because this is plastic, you could use a heated plastic welder and stick it in there too while you're doing the gluing. So it's a little gun that has 2 fingers that has different shaped metal. You probably see the advertisements on Facebook or TikTok or Temu. They're everywhere. They work. I've used them many a times. That would help reinforce it. This, it's just going to break off. It's kind of a really thin spot, and you can see that it's a very thin glue in the middle. The other one's the same way. You could do the same thing. You could drill a small hole and put a little piece of metal in there and glue it together to give it some rigidity. Super glue will do fine. You don't really have to go to the extremes. They're not designed to be manhandled. They're designed to be displayed. So, all right, so let's get this top removed, and that's the next issue. Is we have all these mechanisms that go through the top. So let's take a look at how they're all done so we can get this taken care of. So I'm going to start by removing the scale mechanism. you're going to have to remove all the screws at once. And that's why I leave things unplugged, because that would land on the circuit board while I was plugged in. Could have a problem. Even if the switch is off, you can get bleed through. Or on some pieces where they, like Lemax, you turn them off and they still run until they reset. You always have power on that circuit board. That's so we don't break that finger off. Now, if yours is broke off and you don't have a parts piece, what you can do is on the side, you can drill a small pilot hole and put in a small piece of metal and glue it in. And whoops, I wasn't even going to take that screw out. And replace the finger. You can also just get a screw, drill a pilot hole, screw it in, add some glue to the thread, and cut the head off. So that way it's just a straight shaft. You could use a brad nail as an example. That was the screw I meant to take off. Yeah, it looks like there's... Okay, so that part's loose. That part's loose. That's loose. You may not have to, you probably don't have to unscrew the green or the stack of books, because they don't have any mechanisms in it. There's that. So now we just need to get the motion pieces out. So with the red envelope out of the way, we remove the top screws, which hold in the pivot mechanism. That's one. And now we just need to get this to where I can get the screwdriver in here for the second one. What's wrong with top mechanism. Now need to deal with the letter opener and the scale, which normally they're just pressed in, but I need to know if it's pressed in here or if it's pressed in here. I'm hoping it's the bottom. There we go. Pressed in at the bottom. doing is I was grabbing and then using the white plastic as a cantilever. And then this should be the same where, well, this one may not. This one, the sword, I keep doing that. The letter opener is what pops off. Yeah. Reason being is that shaft comes all the way through to the bottom and the top is keyed. It's not round. So now we have the base. So this is the one that has some of the broken pieces. And this is the one that still has the good pieces. So now I have to get this piece off without breaking it and put it on this piece. Or vice versa. But we're going to go this way. So one of the reasons I was having a hard time taking it apart is you see that hole? And you see that hole? These studs go all the way to the bottom. So if you don't lift it relatively straight, they catch. And then that's why I had to use a screwdriver and push it in and slowly walk up the sides once I figured out its ability. $175 from Santa's Workshop, North Pole. Really, the only thing I needed to switch over was the sword. Again, letter opener. Because this one is so much nicer internally. And that pin down there is straight. Oh, I took this whole thing apart. That's crazy. Hey, now you know how to take it apart. All right. So we don't have to take out the green or the stack of books. So the stack of books went here, like so. The stack of books they went here. And this is squared, so it matches this. So you can't put it in at the wrong angle, so it fits in. So don't try and spin it out, like if the screw stuck, you turn the books, you'll end up breaking them. And then the green is the same way. It's got the little squared notch, and it goes in like so. So those two screws, don't take them out. It's kind of pointless. Unless they're just in your way. You don't want to break them. Alright, let's take out this left side mechanism here. So we can get to the good letter opener guy. Look, I called him the right name this time. Your tool of choice here is going to be a needle nose plier with an aggressive teeth. So this has more aggressive teeth than this. That's why I'm using these. This would fit better, but well, now that I broke it free, it'll probably grab. Now it's slipping on the shaft. So you're going to want to make sure you have some aggressive teeth. That's why I have several different pair of pliers on the bench, is they all do something slightly different. Oops. I'm going to have to push the books down and not the character. Like that. There we go. Yeah, pretty cool how they do that, huh? Anyway, so you don't need to take all the books out either if you're just taking that piece off. But the books have to come out to get to the envelope guy. Books, letters. Why am I having such a hard time with this piece? So there's one more screw right here. I did take the green out so I can get a better view. I'm going to have to pry the this guy up at the same time I'm taking off this stuff. Or it could be that I just missed a screw. So that one came out easier because it was broken, and this one I want to be more careful. So now I'm going to use another pair of pliers to pry against to get this letter opener guy out. That's the only thing holding it in right now. It's just him. So there's that square-ish shaft. This one's knurled. What was this one? Knurled. So the knurling, I can see it's about halfway up, which means I should be pretty close to it popping off like that. This one's knurled too. It's just got some crap on it. this is where it's going to get tricky, because usually you press the knurling on, so you have to do it through this opening here. I mean, I can make it slightly easier with a little separation. Like so. So it has a pin and a little bit of glue. I can then align that up. But see, it sticks through already, which means you have to have this ready to go at the same time that you're screwing it down. You need to be pressing it down. Get it back in. Get my standoffs aligned where they need to go, so I know where the shaft is. There's the shaft. Oh, came off. Do it again. So you're just going to have to take your time and there we go. Perfect. So I got, oh, and it fell right off. I got it started, but it wasn't on far enough and it slid off. So do it again. So squeeze the bottom right here, this bar, and squeeze the top of the blue envelope right here, and squeeze once you have that squared so it sits on the mechanism. Now we're going to pop a couple of screws in to hold the plate down. The only thing I don't like about this screwdriver is it does the buttons smooth, and there's no, when it's in your hand, you can't really discern it from the rest of the unit. Just to me, like I think the newer ones are more tactile, so there's you can tell when you're over the button in case you're not looking at it to make it go forward or backwards. This is the Gen 1. I just charged it too. Okay, there we go. So now we have the base secured and this guy secured. Alright, so when I put it on, the crossbar fell and now it's off of its drive pin. So I'm going to just pull a little bit of it out so I can get a little play to get this back onto its drive pin. Like so. Now, before I assemble it, I want to make sure this doesn't go too far over. It's already close to the edge. So I'm going to plug it in. And I'm going to watch it. And if it starts going too far where it might break, I'm going to turn it off. It's going too far. So that means my alignment's off. There's a couple of ways to fix that. The easiest way is probably going to be to unscrew or to stretch it and reposition the angle of the plastic, or I can pop him back up. But let me just continue. So right now, this should be over here. So when I put it on, the alignment's off. probably just going to reposition him because I'm looking at the plastic drive gear. And it looks like that might be a little harder than I thought if I were to unscrew it. And I don't have him pressed down all the way yet. Even though I was pressing relatively hard, it's not in all the way. I still had about a quarter more of the knurling to go. Not quite, almost there. Now it's off. So the easiest thing to do, which I should have done, I didn't think about it till after I had squeezed it together, is watch your track underneath and set it to where it's at the farthest end so you don't have it go past its ability. Alright, I should be good. 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 There we go. Alright, let's get the rest of this back together. Let's get the, make sure you get the books on first, because your up and down thing won't go on, or you won't be able to get the books on after you put the scale. Get that clip back in. And I just had one of these flat guys. Another long video. Now, I'll put the scale back on. Same thing with this, you're going to have to push the metal shaft into the plastic. So try and get above the metal shaft as close as you can, which is right here in the front of the scale itself. Put pressure on the bottom so you don't break the pin off, and press against yourself. Like so. Now we'll put the scale in, we'll screw it down. One screw. I caught it. 2 screws. Now that the scale is on and centered, I'm going to have it go up so I can push it back down again, because I didn't seat it all the way. And the reason I keep lifting this is so the gears on the bottom don't hit anything. Something just got caught. Nah, I don't think I have this in far enough. Oh. Don't have the shaft in far enough. I'm gonna relieve some of the stress off of it so I can get it to rotate. Oh. Hey, it caught it again. Now I can see the knurling, and yeah, I have to go down like another 1/4 inch. This thing is just so long. Alright, let's see if I can do this. There we go, she's moving. So the part that I pulled out of here is knurled, and the knurling is still showing, so it's trying to go too high. So I got to keep pushing it down until it's fully seated, which it's almost there. Let me screw the scale back down. I only unscrewed the scale to remove where it was binding so I could readjust it. This is why I test things as I do it, because sometimes alignments are off and you have to go back and adjust them. There we go. So now we're gonna, just has to go down a little bit more. Not much, which is nice, but still has to go down a little. There we go. Whew, that is a hard push. So that shaft goes from here all the way down to here. So you're talking 2.5 to 3 inches, and it's trying to flex while you're doing it. So now we're going to make sure it doesn't bind. Still binding, because I'm still off by just a little bit, and I mean a little bit. I probably have 1/16 of an inch left, but that 1/16 of an inch makes a difference. I don't think I'll be able to do it when it's at full extension, but let's try. Reposition my hands. I don't know if that did it. Nope. All right. Removing the tension again. And have it pull it back down. So the pin I'm talking about, so in case you're wondering, is this pin here. So when it's at the 6 o'clock position, it's as low as it can go, and you can see the shaft right there. And you can see your knurling if you're still off. And it looks like it's all the way in, but apparently it's off by just a hair. And I mean, just itty bitty amount. So when it's at the 6 o'clock position, this gap here has to be negligible. So I'm still too high. I got it to go down a little more. It's just really difficult. It's a very long push and it's plastic, so I don't want to break it. It's plastic and nylon, and I'm compressing a steel bar. All right. Got it. Finally. Whew, it's tough on the fingers. Okay. Well, let's finish putting it back together. I don't think this comes off. It'd be easier if it did, but let's try real quick, see if it's just pressed on. Nah, it's glued on. It's not just pressed, it's glued. All right. Let's get this thing in. The only reason I thought I'd try is because that screw, that's a pain to get to with the red envelope here. Nope, I didn't want you to go back inside. I was just trying to rest you. Okay, I'm gonna have to loosen this green envelope. So I can get the red one to go underneath. So I get the red one to lock in. At the same time, I lock in the moving mechanism. Red envelope's now in its place. Now, try and get the mechanism in place. It goes there. Comes the fun part, trying to get to that screw in the front. I might be able to get it through the slot right here in the envelope. Makes you wonder how they did this at the factory. I think they probably had the whole top off and they pressed it in after they had screwed this mechanism down, which fell out of its alignment tabs. So the mechanism has 4 holes, 2 have screws, 2 have alignment studs, and it keeps coming off the alignment studs because I keep moving this postcard. So I can try and get to the gap right here to put the screw in. Okay, so that screws in, but it's not all the way in. I just started it just enough to where I can keep enough slack to try and get the back one started. I'm using the needle nose to help align the screw, and if you don't have thin bead making needle nose, I'd recommend buying a set. Your hobby store will have them generally, or your craft store, but also you can use tweezers. Most people have tweezers. See, this back one's easy. It's a straight shot. It's the front one that's not. But I wanted to get the before you tighten all your screws, especially if there's multiple on the same surface or same plane, you want to just start it and then do your other screws and then go back and tighten them all. That way you have no warpage or alignment issues. And because this plate is the pivot plate, I want to make sure it goes down square so it still pivots. Now, need to put this in. Luckily, this will slide over the other gear if you do it at an angle. Like that. And then get it locked in, and now we need a couple of screws to hold the plate up. It's a magnetizer. Remagnetize the bit so the screw is not falling off. Okay, there we go. Now again, because I just did something else, I'm going to plug it in and make sure this piece doesn't bind. The piece of tape. So, perfect. Alright, now I'll screw in the white and green envelopes. The reason I say white is because the bottom one's white, and that's the color of the standoff that the screw goes into. Before we slide this back in, try it again. What I've noticed with these Enesco music boxes is there's always a trick, and they use a gazillion screws. Alright, make sure this guy is hooked up. It is. Now we just have to move the wire that's sticking up because the tape has come off. And put it back where it needs to be. That right there, so it doesn't interfere with the gears or the music box. And what I'm going to do is, because tape doesn't last very long, so I'm going to zip tie it to a standoff using a small black zip tie. So these wires here, I'm going to zip tie. That way they don't get caught in the big drive gear that moves the mouse on the front, and they don't get caught in the actual music box. Always cut off your excess zip tie, especially if it's in a section where you have rotating mass. So, let's see. What is in the bottom? I think it was that pin that was broke off. It just fell out. Alright, now when we push it in, you don't want to just slam it in because we got to get those teeth to mesh with this mouse here. So I'm going to slowly put it in and feel for resistance once I get it down. And then I'm going to wiggle the mouse. That side's in, and that side's in. Wiggling the mouse allows the teeth, so as they're coming in, they catch. And instead of doing this and snapping them off. This hour-and-a-half long video would be really bad if you did something stupid like that. So they're not meshed right, because he's not moving. Maybe. It's not seating. I don't think you'll ever have to worry about this thing vibrating apart. Even if all the screws are out of it, you're never going to get this thing out. Jeez. Alright, so what's our problem? Is that our problem? I think the bar, there's a bar that pivots the mouse's head. The gear goes under the bar. I think I was sitting on top of it. Hey, now it's all the way in. Now his head's moving. Look at that. So, stamper stamping. Mouse is looking back and forth. He's riding the scale. And he is trying to slice open all the envelopes. So we just need to glue the broken pieces on like that. And that. And put the screws in the bottom. So. Sometimes, and this has happened a few times, where I've taken parts pieces and the parts pieces end up being the new piece. And that's because the parts pieces have, maybe not the aesthetics aren't as good, but the pieces inside are intact and not busted up. Oh. Can't forget about the bottom screws. Like this. No, that's the right screw. So if you have this piece and you have to open it and replace the motor or a gear, it is a difficult piece to open. Once you get it open, though, it's not too hard to service. Why don't you? Oh, there's already a screw in there. That would be the reason. There we go. Whew, all my deliveries are showing up. I just had the delivery from the postman, and now we got UPS and Amazon parked out front. Mentioned in the previous video, my laboratory overlooks the front, and I can see when deliveries are coming. Alright, so if we use this one as reference, we know the magnifying glass is glued right here. Not a problem. The glue mark is right there. So we'll glue that back in. And both of these are broken the exact same spot, and they both look to be in the same condition. So we'll glue that on, and then it's done. So if you have this piece, quick recap so we don't hit 2 hours on this thing. Unscrew the bottom. All these little tags are bouncing around making noise. Unscrew the bottom. 4 screws. Don't take out the 3 in the middle. Then slowly pry the top up using a screwdriver or a knife, pliers, spudger, so on and so forth. And then you can get to the internals. Both motors can be found. This is a standard hobby motor. This motor right here is this motor right here. So easily found, and I mean easily found. And then the motor that controls this, Department 56 uses and has forever, and so has Enesco. It's a round-barreled stepped face motor. They're also very common. You just have to measure the size. So you have to have a micrometer so you can get the actual barrel dimensions, because they do come in just a couple of millimeters off from each other. And then if you get one that's too big, it won't fit. But it's a very common motor, so they're easily repairable. All the gears here, for the most part, inside the gearbox, everything in here is easily found in hobby kits. These gears are not as common, the ones that have the big teeth. Mr. Christmas, or Suntronics, sorry, has gears. As you can see, they're the big teeth style. Of course, this is obnoxiously large because this is for a skating rink, but he does carry some. And you can occasionally find them on eBay or Amazon. And I mean occasionally, because they're a little harder to find. That's where a donor house would come in handy. I do have some of these gears from donor houses, but doesn't mean it's the size you need. Lemax also has gears like this with these larger teeth. They're not standard hobby gears. They're becoming more standard, but they're not the standard ones. When you say hobby gears, they're everything that's in this gearbox. All right. So as far as repairing anything else on this, everything in here is easy. Ish. Is getting to it that's hard. These bushings, well, this is the shaft that comes through, but this is a bushing. Hobby gear kits come with bushings, and if you can't find the right size bushing, because all the bushing does is prevent you from going too far, you can use a small pulley. As you can see, it's an actual pulley. It's about the same height, and you can press this on. All the bushing does is an over travel. This stops the over travel. It doesn't have to be a cylindrical piece. You can't see it. So there you go on that. So you can use other things that are not standard. And then pieces on the top, you would have to find a donor house if you lose a mouse or something. You break something like this off. We're all very familiar with how super glue works, or something like this. This is a real magnifying glass. You have got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh. That is funny. There's so much in this piece that is insane. They took this one. They took some time on making the detail. I don't know if the camera will show it. Probably. Look at that. It is a real magnifying glass. It's a little distorted because it's plastic, but if you hold it the right place from your eye, it's actually crystal clear. There you go. So the details. This could have just been a flat piece of glass and it didn't have to have the concave piece to make it magnify. That is funny. Unless it was supposed to be set at an angle to make it you read this book. But this one's not. So if you have this piece, what's this one say? Santa Claus, Santa's Workshop, North Pole. Well, since it works, I don't have to put on magnifiers. Special delivery. Gifts. Gifts news. Wow. That one stamped it 22 of December. From Jolo Noel. It's covered by the other sticker. But, wow. The detail on this piece is amazing. So this is absolutely amazing, the detail. I actually can't believe it. You got a partially eating cookie, and the part that's missing is in his hand. You have the book that's readable. You have the candy cane, the wrapped peppermint, the wrapped cookies and peppermint in the plastic. Then you have a tag on it that says to Santa from, it looks like Maria. You know what? Since I can't read it because it's so small. Maria. And then the lollipop says, Dear Santa, from Carol and Alex. So if you don't have this piece and you like Christmas, you should find this piece because it's a very nice piece. And the fact that the detail on it is insanely accurate and it's great. It's not just some generic sticker where it looks like text but it's squiggly lines like they do on the pieces now. This is actually all written out, and if this was $175 back in 93, 94, it would be $500 to have this much detail on a piece today. So, but it's now a fully functional. Do it one more time just for good measure. Piece. Moving. I'll tip it so you can see the other two. Head's moving, going up and down, making the needle move. So if you have this piece and you need to fix it, fix it. Because you're not going to find something this detailed ever again. Let me turn it off right now. I want to turn it off when this is straight up for making that easier to glue. For the stamper. I think I called it a candlestick earlier. I was calling everything wrong on this piece earlier, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm actually impressed with the detail. I don't do a lot of Christmas stuff. I do like Christmas stuff, but I prefer the Halloween stuff as far as the villaging goes. And this piece necessarily doesn't go in your village, but it's a great little table topper. I wish there was a way to disconnect the motor. Technically there is. You can put a secondary switch in so you can have the animation without the noise. Because again, music boxes have no volume control because it's just metallic fingers that are springing off of a sound wheel that had little bumps on it. But other than that, that's my only complaint. I like this piece. I mean, there's even text on all the stamps that are down here and right there. And if this isn't glued in, use it to read everything. So... But anyway, you all know how to glue stuff, so I'm going to glue this and hold it up, and I'm going to glue this and hold it up until the super glue sets after about a half a minute or so. And then I'm going to put this one back in its box, and this one he doesn't care about. I'll probably just throw it all into a bag or something for him, but or keep it if he doesn't want it. So, and then I have spare parts if somebody else has this piece and they drop it and break off him or something. But anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry that this video is an hour and 40 minutes-ish long. So, till the next one, thanks for watching.